If you're like most seasoned business owners I speak with, you probably have a gut sense of what your business is worth. And if you're being honest with yourself, that number might come down more to pride than spreadsheets. But the truth is, when it comes to time to exit, a gut check is not going to cut it. It's not going to hold up with buyers. Why? Because they're not just buying your business, they're buying your financials. So today we are kicking off our 8-part series on the drivers of business value by talking about the big one, financial performance, what it is, why it matters, and what you can start doing today to improve it. Let's keep it simple. Financial performance is a combination of two things. Number one, your history of generating revenue and profit. And number two, the professionalism of your financial record keeping. So it's not just about how much money your business makes, which you've probably heard me say several times on the show already, but it's about how clean and organized and trustworthy your financials look to a potential buyer. So I want you to stop and just think about this from a buyer's perspective for a second. If you were buying a business, would you not want to see consistent profits, solid profit margins, reliable data you can trust? Of course you would. So buyers aren't gambling with gut feelings, they're investing based on facts. And so that's why poor financial performance or even just messy bookkeeping can tank your business value or even kill a deal. So what are buyers actually looking for? They want to see 3 or more years of consistent growing revenue. They want to see healthy profit margins. Very important. They want to see accurate and timely financial statements. They want to make sure your personal and business expenses are separated. And they want to make sure they understand how you, the owner, are actually getting paid. So the more confidence they have in your financials, the more they're going to be willing to pay and the more flexible you can be with deal terms. So for example, maybe everything sounds good, looks good. They can tell you've been making more and more money, but because they can't really trust the statements, there's a lot of risk for them to pay what you're asking. So when I talk about deal terms, maybe what they would say is, okay, hey, here's the deal, closer to what you're looking for. But, if we don't meet certain targets, we're not actually paying the money. Right? Or you need to stay on for the next 5 years to make sure we're hitting these targets. So things like that, right? As opposed to here's the cash, thank you for all your work, and you get to move on to the next stage. Let me give you a hypothetical here. We have Janet, who runs a successful interior design firm with say $1.5 million of annual revenue. So she's profitable. She knows she's making money, but her books are managed by a family member just using some spreadsheets. She runs a lot of personal expenses through the business, things like her car, her vacation, home utilities, even groceries here and there. So when she decides she's ready to sell, buyers are immediately going to get nervous because the numbers don't add up cleanly, right? No one's quite sure how much profit is real and how much is, accounting magic, we'll call it. So despite her years of success, her firm is seen as risky. So imagine Janet had hired a bookkeeper, kept her records clean, worked with their accountant to normalize her earnings so people could see the separation between business and personal expenses. All of a sudden, her firm becomes much more attractive to buyers, and they're maybe even willing to compete for it because they can see exactly how successful it's been. So, how do we go about improving this? On our end, this is where we'd use the Value Builder score. It's one of the first things we measure with clients is the quality of the financial performance. So if you're scoring low here, it's not the end of the world. It just means there's some work for you to do. So here's a few starting points. One is just, clean up your books. So use a professional bookkeeper and an accounting system. QuickBooks Online would be an example, assuming you're using it right. Get regular financial statements. So I'm talking about monthly P&Ls, balance sheets. So be reviewing these on a monthly basis, as opposed to just looking at them once a year at tax time. You want to make sure you're separating those personal and business expenses. This makes normalization much easier for buyers and it builds more trust. And you want to work with your accountant to prepare the adjusted earnings. So buyers want to know what they're really getting, right? The last thing here is review your numbers like you're a buyer. Right? So ask yourself, would I buy this business, not based on what you know about the business, but by looking at your reports? Like if you look at those reports, is there a compelling story there for a buyer? Do they want to buy that business? Or is there a lot of risk because it's hard to see how much money you're really making? So look, to wrap up here, financial performance is the foundation of your business value. Okay. It's not just about how much you make. Again, I know I've said this before, but it's can you clearly prove it is one of the big things here for financial performance. So if you want to attract some serious buyers and get paid what your business is really worth, this is where it starts. And the good news is I know a lot of you listening aren't ready to sell right now, so you have some time. So get to work on this. Start working on those statements, start looking at them regularly, start separating your personal and business expenses. As I mentioned, this is just the first in a series of the 8 drivers of company value. If you want the whole list right away, you can just email me at info@retirementplanningsimplified.ca and ask for the full white paper on the 8 drivers of company value. And I'm happy to send that to you right away. And in the next episode, we're going to dive into growth potential, which is another major driver that can swing your valuation significantly. And I'll see you in that next episode.